The Artivist speaks. Don't let Mississippi make Jamie Scott into a martyr like Clyde Kennard. Ode to the Death Angel by Clyde Kennard, read at his funeral. Oh, here you come again, old chilly devil old, to plot out life and test immortal soul. I saw you fall against the raging sea. I cheated you then, and now you'll not catch me. I know your face is known in every race. Your speed is fast, and along the way, your shadow you cast, high in the sky. You thought you had me then. I landed safely, but here you are again. I see you pause upon the fourth pew. When you think I'm asleep, I'm watching you. Why must you hound me so everywhere I go? It's true my eyes are dim, my hands are growing cold. Well, take me on then, that I might at last become my soul. I am truly worried that the state of Mississippi is trying to murder Jamie Scott like they did Clyde Kennard. It is atrocious to think that Jamie, going through the last stages of kidney failure and suffering from other severe complications due to incompetent and indifferent care, being in pain one more day while being denied a life-saving kidney transplant via her sister Gladys by the state because of the state's perverted sense of justice and law and order. In a lot of ways, the wrongful imprisonment of these Scott sisters is similar to the situation that Clyde Kennard himself faced in Jim Crow civil rights era Mississippi. Like the Scott sisters, Kennard was set up by corrupt officials and faulty lying witness testimony. The victims in both cases were set up by those representing the law and powerful political interests in the state and local government. Clyde Kennard, a native of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and decorated Korean War veteran who grew up in Chicago, returned to his native Mississippi to take care of his ailing stepfather and to run his own chicken farm. He also wanted to become a lawyer, and with the encouragement and support of the Mississippi NAACP Field Secretary Medgar Evers, unsuccessfully tried to get enrolled into what is now known as the University of Southern Mississippi at Hattiesburg. His ambition for education and the law will ultimately lead to his frame up by the state, wrongful imprisonment, and martyrdom. On September 15, 1959, after meeting with celebrated white supremacists and University of Southern Mississippi President William David McCain, Kennard was pulled over by the local police for reckless driving and accused of having alcoholic beverages in his vehicle. Prohibition was not repealed in Mississippi until 1966, the last state to do so. This was obviously a setup because the police actually perjured themselves on the alcohol accusation. He was then convicted for possession of alcohol, fined $600, and was the victim of a credit boycott by local vendors. And then on September 25th, 1960, Kennard and an alleged accomplice, Johnny Lee Roberts, were accused of stealing $25 in chicken feed from a warehouse in Forest County. The all-white jury only took 10 minutes to find him guilty on November 21st, 1960. He was sentenced to 7 years of hard time at the notorious Parchment State Penitentiary. Medgar Evers called the convention a mockery of judicial justice and was promptly fined $100 and sentenced to 30 days in jail, which was eventually overturned by the Mississippi State Supreme Court on June 12, 1961. Eventually, sometime later, Roberts, under oath, testified that Kennard was innocent. Kennard did not ask me to steal. Kennard did not ask me to break into the co-op. Kennard did not ask me to do anything illegal, he stated. While incarcerated, Kennard was diagnosed with colon cancer in 1961. Surgery was performed on him at the University of Mississippi Hospital, and the medical staff suggested that he be placed under their complete care or that they be allowed complete access to monitor his condition. However, the hardline prison officials, under the direction of the Mississippi State Sovereignty Commission, the forerunner to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, had other nefarious ideas. He went without any treatment for an ungodly extended period of time, being forced to endure back and spirit-breaking labor on the prison plantation while the cancer metastasized, accelerating his 7-year prison stint into a death sentence. Because of his cancer making him too physically weak and sick to feed himself as well as be productive, and also the growing national media attention and outrage, Clyde Kennard was finally released into the care of his sister with only a few sacred months to live. He was flown to Chicago by the comedian and activist Dick Gregory. He had several more surgeries at the University of Chicago with little success in circumventing the illness. He eventually succumbed to his illness on July 4, 1963, almost a month after his good friend Medgar Evers was assassinated in front of his family home in Jackson, Mississippi. Ironically, it took an Illinois high school teacher, Barry Bradford, and his dedicated students, Mona Gaderi, Adams Mazur, and Callie McCoon, the Center on Wrongful Convictions at Northwestern University, as well as some Mississippi political heavyweights and favorite sons, such as former federal judge Charles Pickering and former Governor William Winters, working in unison to help Kennard get absolved of wrongdoing by the state of Mississippi on May 17, 2006, when his original burglary conviction was thrown out by Judge Bob Helfrich, almost 43 years after his death. The sad thing about this whole affair is that the state created the ultimate crime against Kennard by violating his civil and human rights. The reason why the state was hesitant in exonerating Kennard was because the state feared retribution in the form of litigation from Kennard's surviving family members. But the family was more concerned about seeing their ancestors' name and legacy cleared and restored to good standing for posterity rather than financial gain. Just like in the Kennard case, a pardon for the Scott sisters is ludicrous and absurd because they are victims of a gross miscarriage of justice, as well as cruel and unusual punishment perpetrated by the powers that be of a corrupt state machination. Some of the cogs in this machine are crucifying them for no good substantial reason other than being related to folks who pissed off some of the state's corrupt gatekeepers. The state also fear, and rightfully so, the legal repercussions from the family of the Scott sisters. However, I would reason with the state to not compound their well-deserved woes and problems any further by keeping these innocent sisters as neo-chattel slaves of the state. If Jamie Scott's condition gets any worse, and she is continually denied a kidney transplant and adequate health treatment, then her precious blood will be on the hands of the state and her martyrdom on the conscience of Governor Haley Barbour and other state officials. Mississippi doesn't need to add any more martyrs to its shameful history.